So I'm working, as he mentioned, for the Ohio State University as Associate Regional Director. Our office is based in Addis. So zoonotic diseases are diseases that spread between humans and animals, and most known infectious disease, and about 3/4 of the newly emerging infections come from animals, as the studies show. So when we see the traits of zoonotic diseases, we see like different emergencies, endemic zoonotic diseases, and new emerging zoonotic diseases, and other traits, including at the human-animal interface, including antimicrobial resistance. So when we see the emergence of zoonotic diseases, there are different reasons. There is a natural discourse. There are changes in land use. There are changes in human behavior. So the interaction between animals and humans is increasing because of the different reasons. And there is a global dynamics of climate change. Because of the climate change, usually after heavy rains, floods. An example is malaria is coming after heavy floods, and climate change is becoming a reason for the emergence of zoonotic disease. And also, it's not only animals, the interaction between animals and humans. So if we see this salad, they call it the well-traveled salad. So a single salad can have different components of the food from all the continents, including the spices and the major parts of the dish coming from all continents. Milk products, meat products, and others. So it's not only the interaction between humans and animals. It's and also the emergence of zoonotic disease outbreaks are occurring because of climate change. And as you can see here, climate change and first case in animals detected, late detection, delayed response. So you can see how epidemics are going, and here animal amplification, human amplification. So you can see how the different factors of outbreaks, zoonotic disease outbreaks. And the impact of zoonotic diseases, they can threaten the health of animals, resulting in illness, loss of productivity, and death, and also impact the livelihood population dependent on livestock, as well as they cause large number of illness and deaths in people. So the impact of zoonosis disease is the public health impact as well as the economic impact. So estimating the burden of disease, this is one of the areas where people, different partners working on One Health should work. So the World Bank estimates shows that in developing countries every year 2.4 billion human infections with origins in animals occur, causing widespread illness like 2.2 million human deaths. And also these are often endemic in developing countries, and they are underreported and underdiagnosed. And surveillance is very important in terms of understanding the epidemiology of diseases, and how we can make the control approaches. So we need to use a One Health approach in zoonotic disease surveillance. Usually, previously, the public health experts are doing their own, separate work, and veterinarians are doing their own work. But data are fragmented. Our control strategies are very fragmented. But we need to work, including not only the medical and veterinary aspects, including environmentalists should work together in One Health approach. So we need to use a broader definition of One Health and global One Health. So when we see, for the surveillance of zoonotic diseases, multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary One Health approach is very important. When we say, multi-sectoral, different sectors are involved, but that does not mean necessarily different people with different disciplines are involved. So we have to make sure that it's a multi-sectoral as well as multidisciplinary One Health approach. So it's the multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary One Health approach in the surveillance of zoonotic disease is a collaborative, multidisciplinary and multi-sectoral approach that can address urgent, ongoing and potential health threats at the human-animal environment interface. It can be implemented at national, subnational and regional levels, and this approach includes ensuring balance and equity among the different sectors which are involved in the surveillance. So the benefits of the multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary One Health approach is, response is more timely and effective. All sectors have the information they need because they are involved. Decisions are based on accurate and shared assessments of the situation, and accountability to each other and to decision makers ensures action to all sectors. Because it's a multi-sectoral as well as multidisciplinary, so many people are involved, so they do have the information. And all sectors understand their specific roles and responsibilities in collaboration. As we are doing the surveillance together, we are going to do the control aspect together. So technical, human, and financial resources are effectively used and equitably shared. Gaps in infrastructure, capacity, and information are identified and filled. So as we OIE guidelines show us, OIE, WHO, FAO, they do have a kind of tripartite joint agreement in surveillance as well as different aspects. So the OIE guidelines place increasing emphasis on the need for effective infectious disease surveillance and response capacities at the national level. So this is not only from OIE, so FAO, WHO, they have a joint, these days they have a joint surveillance guidelines. There is a growing consensus regarding the value of effective surveillance because that's important for the control and the need for enhanced surveillance capacity at national and international levels. And the cycle of surveillance includes systematic monitoring of disease, detection of unusual occurrence, outbreak investigation and intervention, and this cycle of intervention. And elements include when we select the surveillance system, we have to have a clear objectives, well-defined disease surveillance case definition, and determine the type of disease surveillance systems. There are different surveillance systems, and identifying source of data and information. There are different sources of data, detecting channels, determining channels of information, and there are different data, description of data extracted ongoing surveillance systems. What's the system, what's the purpose, what's the coverage, the setting, the population, when is it started, which organizations are involved. So this is defining all the information which the type of surveillance we are going to use. So these have been discussed the last couple of days on human capacity, laboratory capacity, clinical and field competencies, and collaborations. So when evaluating the effectiveness of emerging zoonotic disease surveillance system, there are different attributes, timeliness, simplicity, flexibility, quality, acceptability, and sensitivity are some of the issues when we evaluate the selection. So there are different challenges. As a One Health task force, different One Health partners are working. So there are different challenges, and we have to challenge the challenge of surveillance. So usually information are collected independently, and reports are being. There are different challenges, but my recommendations are we have to choose multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary One Health approach, and also there should be One Health workforce development. So people have been working on different fragmented things, but we have to have working on epidemiology as well as economics of burden of disease to have a good surveillance system. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Desalegne.